The swoosh and the lap, the rhythmic breaths, the soothing break. But in it is also Kerouac's miles of horrible washing sawing, counting me down to the arrival in LA and the dread farewell to the sheriff. We have waxed, and now we begin the slow wane south. The uncertainty of the next phase of the trip is worrying to me. Have I peaked too early? In a day I'll be back to square one with no further plan other than head north to Oregon. But for now the Pacific Highway was the only premeditated part of the trip, the only part I knew I would do. And so, following the Pacific southwards, it being always to my right, and with the sun dropping closer to the horizon, and the sheriff's footrests scraping at the floor with each corner, and the sheer drops down to the rocks that signal the strange feeling of a land ending, of a surety given to the folds of an ocean. Highway 1 runs the length of California, but its best 100 miles are those from Monterey down through Big Sur. Those winding, swooping, swerving miles. If the desert road is an aching tautness, then the coastal road is a playful bound. A salt wind-blown sheet of road billowing its way south, running ahead and urging you to follow it round the next cliff, the next fissure, the next foot-scraping curve. Big Sur has a long history of literature. It was the retreat of Henry Miller and Kerouac and Richard Brautigan and Hunter S. Thompson. And when I stop at the Nepenthe restaurant for coffee, I think about how they'd all likely sat in this very place and fuck it, blah blah blah, it's all the history anyway. Who needs it in this landscape? These rocks exist without any word from anyone, from any time, and I'm tired of all this looking back anyway. Right now the hills glow gold all around me, and it runs down to the ocean and out in oily slick towards the sun, whose mouth is at the horizon, sucking all this light back into it. This is the last sunset with the sheriff. I don't want to poison it with anything else. And so, just as the sun touches the horizon, I find a cliffside campsite with just enough time to watch it unfold. I think back to that first night in Joshua Tree, the long road to Grand Canyon and Route 66, the old geysers in Death Valley, to Cheryl where no one ever leaves, to the ever-changing landscape of California and that long old white scar, to Yosemite and the Fruit Bowl, and finally to Brian and Marianne. I dread arriving in LA, to swapping my boots for trainers, my panniers for a rucksack, the Plankton 5 for hostels, and the sheriff's company for, most likely, that of fucking Australians. So I try not to think of how I will fill the next 50 days, and instead just focus on that Big Sur sunset.